are going to report this week that you need to watch, and among them, Bank of America. We've also got Johnson & Johnson. IBM's coming out. Netflix, Pepsi, Morgan Stanley, Amex, Honeywell, and Travelers. Which ones, or one, could just be one, right? Should you be buying before it releases its earnings? We go to our Traders on the Floor show. Scott Redler, what do you think? Is there a name or two in here where you'd say scoop it up now?
Well, it depends on your time frame, if you're an investor or a trader. My traders rarely buy something right before it's going to report earnings because you never know. So what I have them do is buy options. You know, I was pretty bullish on Goldman Sachs going into the print. I bought options, and you know what? It's down $6, $7. I lose my premium. It's okay. I move on. What I'm watching, though, is Netflix. Netflix is very important tomorrow after the close. If you recall Friday, it got beat up on the Disney subscriber costing or whatever they're charging. So we need to see how Netflix reacts for tech, because the FANG names are very important to the momentum of this rally. We're above S&P 2900. It's going to be very hard for us to go much further if they don't respond to Netflix positively. So I think with the discount we just saw in Netflix, if you want to buy some Netflix calls, I think it's very speculative. I think $10 off of where it was last week, not a bad play. But what I'll be doing is waiting to see the reaction, see if it's a great report and they sell it. Got to be careful with tech. If it's a decent report and it stays in the game, I think you could still go with Amazon and Facebook and the usual suspects for higher prices.
Professor Redler on the floor of the NYSE. Let's take it to the CME in Chicago. Phil Flynn, any name you'd be buying here ahead of its earnings report?
You know, I really like IBM. I think this is going to be a sleeper going into the earnings. And a lot of people have been downplaying this stock. They're concerned that the earnings are going to be hit by a lot of currency fluctuations and trade. Right. But I think they're going to do better than people think. I don't think they were hit as hard as the market thinks. On top of that, President Trump's announcement on 5G, I think their outlook on 5G is going to be very optimistic in this earnings announcement for the future, because there's going to be a lot of money invested in 5G. IBM is well positioned because basically half of all the infrastructure in the world is serviced by IBM. So IBM could get a boost off this as long as they don't get hit too hard by those currency fluctuations. So the outlook is very good for IBM.
You don't often hear IBM used in the same sentence as 5G, but that's why we love our traders. They give you the scoop. Alan Nuckman, anything you would buy ahead of an earnings report coming out this week?
Well, I'm like Scott. I'm an options guy, so I like a little bit of longer runway. I'm looking at Facebook. Facebook has earnings on the 24th. Now, this is a fallen and forgotten stock. Let's remember, you know, it had tracked almost tick for tick like Apple did up until this fall that we saw back in December. If you look at it now, it's trading between 160 and 180 now for 2 months. A breakout of this 180 top, which it hit today, targets 200 on the upside. So there's a lot more upside. You've seen Apple recover. Facebook has a lot more. Let's remember, they made $7 billion last quarter, and they've got 2 billion users. So I think they're a little undervalued here at these levels, and make a comeback like a la Apple did is what I'm looking for there with the 170 call for May.
He just used the comeback word.
Right,
perfect segue, right? What other comeback are we talking about, guys? Tiger, great to see all of you. I know. Who didn't see that, right? Could Tiger Woods' unbelievable golf comeback mean Nike might bring back its golf club business from the dead? With the closing bell ringing in 48 minutes, Nike is right up there in the top 5 among the Dow 30 leaders in this final hour of trade after Tiger's improbable but amazing victory at the Masters had the world watching not just Tiger, but the swoosh stripe. Nike was one of only 2 sponsors who remained loyal to Tiger through his